Hello there everyone and welcome back to Shogun 2 Fall of the Samurai with the Scramble for the Far East mod. Last time around we took over all of Korea. Since then I've had to do quite a few turns to actually move into position where I could attack the mainland of Japan. Just looking through here, you can see that I've now completed the railroad project, and not only that, I've actually upgraded it to the second level, so that hopefully means that I can transport ships, or not ships, but troops pretty fast from the capital. Because I did note that it seems like recruitment is locked for the capital. I started building barracks down here. And I noted that I could only get that type of infantry while up in the capital. So it seems like it's locked to your original place of origin to start with, like your original province. That like it's locked the recruitment of these types of troops for non-Japanese and non-Koreans. Are locked to these areas. So I imagine it's something similar for the US, the Prussians, the Dutch and so on. With that, as I said, I've gone ahead and planned my invasion of Japan. Let's just go ahead and look here real quick. I've started building... I've made quite the progress, I think, because I wasn't entirely sure which year this was, so I looked at this. And it says in November in 62. Currently, the year is 1865. It's late summer, in fact, in 1865. So it's almost 3 years ago that I won the battle and took over all of Korea. And finally, now I'm ready. There was a bit of trial and error to figure out a good way to invade Japan. So... if we go ahead and look at the map, at this current state, Prussia has taken most of it, as we can see. They stretch all the way from the north, all the way down to the south. However, the Dutch won the fight down here, and they've taken all of this here. And then we've got the Americans here. They probably would have continued if they weren't landlocked by the Prussians. They would have probably continued side by side with the Prussians down through here. This is the only area that still holds out with a big Japanese force. So this island right here. Then there's a lot of these smaller islands that still have Japanese factions on them. And up to the very, very north up here, we still have Japanese factions. But otherwise, Japan is now split in between three European factions, or 2 European factions in America. I was about to include myself here. So, of course, the victory condition of this campaign is to control. I thought wrong here. It says total victory province held, and then it's 25, but you need an additional 15 loyal provinces, and since no one else is going to swear allegiance to the Russian Emperor, then we have to assume that we need 40 provinces, and we need the province of Tokyo, the Musashi province, which the Americans hold. So we have to invade the Americans first. And rather than, first I had an idea of attacking the Dutch first, and taking that, sort of giving me a foothold in Japan. But slugging my way through the Prussians and the Americans, going through all of here, I kind of like, no, we're not going to do that. That's going to take forever to do it that way. And we'll just, I'll be bogged down and I'll never be finished with this campaign. So I decided instead to go ahead and send my navy very precariously, because the Americans and the Prussians are so much bigger and they're so much richer, and they've got so many ships all over the place, and they probably have higher technology and all of that. nice stuff. I mean, just look at some of these towns. They're all like at the highest level. There's so much, and it's all like top tier buildings of all of this. So we can imagine they have quite the advantage, and then slugging a way through there would be disastrous. So instead, what I did was I set my navy up here so that I could easily invade the Musashi region. Unfortunately, what it is, because the ports here have so high level, I think you can even see the small gun batteries along the beaches here. And these are the places where I need to land. And I can't unless I destroy the port. And currently, in the ships that I sent with my armies, I couldn't actually destroy the port in time for it to actually completely break down the navy and make it really weak. So there was no way I'm going to be landing at a hostile port. So I couldn't declare war and then land troops. So what I decided then is to do some diplomatic dealings, in which case I set up so I became allied with the Dutch. I had to pay out through my nose. Basically an entire turn's worth of wealth. So like 17,000 I think I paid for the alliance with the Netherlands. Just then to have the agreement. But obviously I probably paid more if we total all the money I sent to them in gifts. Which I believe was about 10,000 at least. So it cost me 27,000 just to be allied with the Dutch, and they're probably gonna break it anyways. Then I did the same with the Prussians. The Prussians I paid so much to because I needed to get allies, I needed to get military access, and also I needed them to break their alliance with the Americans, so that they wouldn't immediately go ahead and join the Americans in the war. I don't think they will join me in the war, but that was the plan anyways. So the closest way that I was able to set up is right here along the coast, cramped in a corner. I've set up all my 5 armies that I've been recruiting. So we landed about here, and then we marched through the wilderness to this position, and now we're gonna march down. An interesting thing, I guess part of the, I don't know why, but I got to see all the Prussian railroad all of a sudden when I got the military access. So I'm not entirely sure what's that all about. And you can see that the Prussians have actually upgraded there to the highest level as well. So, I mean, they've upgraded everything to the highest level all over the place. So, we can imagine, even with my sneaky way of getting at the Americans, it's probably going to take quite a while to defeat all of these. So we can actually see through all of these railroads. Some of it isn't connected, because some of it is being held by the Americans, but we can see a lot of it. Currently also, as the Prussians are allied with the Dutch, they are at war with this island here, so they're gonna try and conquer it. Hopefully they'll be held back for quite a while. I'm just hoping that... My main hope is that I just have to fight the Americans to start off with, that the Prussians don't join in, because that could be difficult. And I don't want the Dutch to join in either, because they could invade my provinces, my home provinces. With that said, we're gonna strike this plan and go ahead and start the war. I'm gonna go ahead by cancelling the trade agreement with the United States. That's another thing which is gonna be kind of a major problem as I start these wars, is a lot of my income comes from my trade. So striking down all these trade agreements with different nations, with the big nations, is going to be quite difficult. Or it's going to be, not difficult, but it's going to probably affect my economy quite a bit. Because so much of the money I make is from trade. What I did was, as I had taken over all of Korea, I noticed that all of it was trade, and I wouldn't make much tax. And I realized, you know, if I'm gonna invade mainland, probably a lot of these trade agreements gonna be broken down, and I'm gonna be susceptible to blocking those trade routes, or these being attacked, and I would lose a big part of my income. So what I did was I lowered the income, the tax level, to the lowest. So I was still making the same trade, but in terms of tax income, that meant, because I wasn't taxing everyone, meant that the wealth of the province increased a lot more. So this is 14 with normal tax, but when I had it on low or minimal tax, it made 20, so it increased the wealth of the region quite a bit. So I would be able to, so once I moved to wartime, I would be able to make that, or it would stabilize my economic situation a little bit more by being, you know, domestic wealth that I could tax. With that said, let's go ahead and declare war on the United States, or the colony. They're not gonna join, I don't think. Oof. This is one of those things where it would be great if they joined me, because that would kind of, you know, solidify my war here. But like, if they don't, they could break the alliance and so forth. I don't think they're gonna join me, so we're just gonna do it like that. And given our position here, it's gonna take quite a while until I actually get to the Americans. One thing that I noticed though is, because of this, as I showed, that you can only kind of recruit your troops, your original troops from your original positions. A lot of the American armies are made up of volunteers and colonial infantry and stuff like that. So that will be, hopefully, be good for us. Another thing when I thought about invading the Dutch was, let's see, not armies, provinces. They have two coal facilities right here, making tons of money for them. Also, if you look at the provinces by the wealth they make, the two highest one, Nagasaki and Hessen, is under control of the Dutch. So they're making, in between these two, they make tons of money. Almost 8,000 wealth compared to, I think I'm up to almost, I'm up to almost 4,000 in my highest, so there's a big difference. With that said, which I've said now 3 times, which I'm painfully aware of, let's go ahead and end turn, and I'll get back to you guys once we're ready to take the first province and open up this port for us. We're probably going to meet quite a bit of Americans coming to attack us, and the Prussians could definitely join against us, and the Dutch could definitely join against us as well. And I kind of think they will, because that's the way the cookie crumbles, doesn't it? Immediately I run into problems. I'm not even a foot within American soil before one of their assassin strikes and actually assassinates one of my, let's see, actually the good one, I think. The good military advisor, the one that had highest level, got assassinated the first thing going in here. We're bound to run into American armies here as well, rushing to attack us. Thing is, I haven't. It doesn't look as though, right now anyways, that the Prussians gonna join them. or the Prussians actually like me more than they do the Americans. And in terms of the Dutch, they have actually started to dislike the Americans. So I wonder if I can get the Dutch to actually join the war against the US. If I request join war, United States, and I paid you, I'm probably gonna have to pay them like 15,000 or something like that. To come to an agreement. Okay, so I guess we need to push it up to, I imagine then we'll have to push it up to 20,000. A deal is satisfactory. Great. I managed to drag the Dutch into the war. I'm not expecting the Dutch to invade the American territory, but what will happen is, as it's the only enemy the Dutch have, the Dutch Navy will patrol these waters for me, and there will be the American navies, which we can see one up here and one here, will hopefully be sunk by the Dutch navies. So there will be all-out naval conflict in front of here that will be hopefully protect my shores. I do have a big home fleet as well. I actually have two to draw from if the American fleets get close. Should really research ramming. Where is ramming? Post-Nelson Thought? This one enables ramming, which I think would be cool, especially since we will be getting, as we have the ironclads now. With that said, we're about one turn away from actually attacking Hitachi, which all the Russian ladies will love that we take control of this. Yes, let's go ahead and end turn once more. We have an army sabotaged, so the assassin keeps going on. I guess is there another assassin? No, it's still Anthony. He's sitting there meditating on the high hill. He has sabotaged this army under the command of Dmitri, which is the original cavalry commander. However, my faction leader is now within range to actually lay siege to our first American town. However, because of delays in the campaign and so forth, as you note, it is now autumn. So that'll be add compound to the difficulties here, as we'll expect winter pretty darn soon. Let's bring all the armies in. I'll probably not go ahead and wait until they attack out. We'll probably go ahead and actually charge in. But the thing is, siege battles are such that, you know, if I do anything remotely interesting, it's gonna cost me thousands of men. And, I mean, playing it safe, I'll just sit there and bombard the place, and that's not interesting viewing. Anyways, we'll go straight for it, take this over, and then hope that we can meet an American field and an army in the field, so that I actually got a battle to play for you guys. With that said, now I said it again for at least the fourth time, let's go ahead and attack, take Hitachi. You know what, this is with the forces that I have right here, this is pretty easy out-resolve. Although it could be dangerous, but I mean, I bring over 10,000 people down upon this castle. Let's quick save just in case. And then out-resolve. Okay, it is gonna start rolling down. It's rolling down very quick for him though. I thought it'd be an immediate just cut to victory. So we lost 1,000 men taking the castle. We carried away one American cannon. No units were destroyed. Main army suffered quite a bit, but it seems all okay. I can make it a vassal, Mito, but what's the point of that? Well, the only vassals I really would like to bring up would be the British and the French, to re-establish them. I think I'm gonna avoid making a border with Prussia, but we might definitely have to go over here at some point. Now with the port under our control, I should definitely see about maybe raiding American trade down here. Although I don't think attacking... I've never really been able in any Total War to really affect the enemy's bottom line in any significant way other than, you know, like taking all their castles and towns. Go ahead and repair this, and we'll see if we can meet the Americans in the open somewhere. We're back after the end turn. The assassin actually tried to assassinate the faction leader. I hope he cannot die and it's one of those things where he just gets wounded and sent back home. It could be, though, that he could be very well be assassinated by this bloody assassin. I should have thought about this and actually brought counter-assassins and stuff with me. I'm gonna remove this American cannon. Currently, of course, we need to make it pro-Russia rather than pro-USA, which is gonna take a while. I also noted that they had a field arsenal, but without having... I think field arsenals doesn't even work unless in the home province. So we would have to... So I'm tearing that down. I'm also tearing down the military court, the US military court. So we're gonna be able to build our own. They do have a pretty high training camp, and I can recruit Cossacks, but we definitely need to capture something so I can start recruiting my own assassin and just send as many as I can after this Anthony guy before he actually kills anyone that is important. You know what? Could you engage in single combat against this guy? 31% chance. Even if it only is 31% chance, it hopefully redirects this asshole from trying to assassinate defeated in single combat. Right. Hopefully we'll be able to get that guy down. With that, there's an American army that's turned up from the north. We've got a lot of colonial saber cavalry. We've got one normal foot, but then it looks like it's a lot of colonials, conscripts, volunteers. We are going to attack, and I'm going to lead the charge with... I think we're going to lead with you. Snowshoes. Oh, the Americans pull back. Right, so they don't want to engage when we're twice their numbers, so... But I still want to crush this bastard. They got the train station right there. They're probably going to bring in loads of troops unless we attack and destroy that. So, let's go ahead and continue here. We'll send a single army then to deal with the Americans. 5 cavalry units, lots of these colonial foot. Not that they're particularly bad units, but they're small, I note. They're small, 160 compared to our 240. They have 2 smaller 6-pounder guns. It's going to be an interesting fight. Let's go ahead and fight against the Americans. The ground definitely favors American cavalry, since they have cavalry superiority in this battle. However, it will also facilitate my cannons firing on flat ground. So they'll have a pretty good day here. I'm hoping to move up my light infantry and place stakes in front of the lines at a decent area. I'm not entirely sure if, you know what, maybe it's not even that good to place it in front. Maybe what I should do is I should have the stakes in the back, just behind the line, so if cavalry charges the line, it will go through and into the spikes, because I'm pretty sure spikes that they will catch the like they will catch bullets. So I think we'd do like this instead. And once the enemy is engaged towards the center, which I'm hoping most of them get stuck there, I can send the light troops out on the flank. I think we'll start by having these grenadiers stand pretty close to the main line, and then deploy stakes behind. Maybe not that close, a little bit to the back. Like that. Let's start.
Prepare to attack, sir!
Let's deploy the stakes. Let's have the cannons fire. Aiming at the American cannons, we took down quite a few of those 6-pounders. Oh, they were just deploying them, so they're still kind of there. And here's the Americans. It's all colonial line infantry, most of it. Some volunteers. Loads of cavalry. There's 2 units of cavalry and one of the cannons over on that side. And then there's 3 units of cavalry over there. Maybe I should focus in on the enemy cavalry. However, we cannot fire on that cavalry over there. But I can fire on the cavalry on this side. So maybe focusing on that rather than the enemy cannons. I don't think they're going to be used to much effect. So now we have a defensive line behind our troops that they can retreat behind if necessary. And I do think it's kind of doubtful if, since there's so much cavalry, I think it's doubtful that I will be able to win cavalry engagement on either side unless I focus the cavalry units on one side. So I will focus on where the enemy has the strongest cavalry force, and then we hope to just shoot these guys down, which I think we could do with the light infantry if we play our cards right. Currently blasting towards these. Then cannons are not as useful against enemy cavalry as they are in, say, Napoleon and Empire, where the bounce kills so many of the American, or not just the American, but cavalry units. They're actually switching over one cavalry unit over to this side. And then they're sending one out into the forest. Interesting. So now they're focusing the cavalry up on this side, while they're having one there. Okay. Let's hold fire here. I think we can switch to, yeah, we can switch to canister and start spraying the Americans. Just gonna spray that cavalry unit. And I think they're just coming into range for the muskets. Fire by rank. Let it rip and destroy the American cavalry. They have found where... Okay, so we've got that one cavalry unit that's coming closer. Cossacks will move up to meet him. On the other side, the American cavalry is charging headlong against our lines. And they managed to get in between the musket shots there. Back to canister. Oh, the Americans... They tried their best, but the best wasn't that good. Let's take out the flags. Oh, they're kind of tilting in a way that... Boom. Okay, the Americans do have musket superiority. Okay, we'll continue the charge there, actually. The Grenadiers will join. We broke the flank. Let's send up the light troops. Even more cavalry. The American right has broken down. The cavalry is broken through. But on the other side, it's not going too well. I'm sending troops over. The general's coming in. We've got bayonet charge and fighting going on here. Devastating fighting among our troops. Let's move quickly. The Cossacks need to come in from the back. Our troops must hold. They will. They will hold.
Victory is assured, sir!
Until my Cossacks come in. Looks like the Americans have had enough. Victory, but it... Oh! A stray cavalry unit came in. Fall behind the defensive lines. Form square. That light infantry unit is not doing well.
Your men are routing, sir!
They routed. Let's see if the square should be able to help out here, hopefully. Completely missed these guys. But with that, we were victorious against the Americans in our first clash in the open field. Here's the result of the battle. We lost 756 men out of our 2,600, and the Americans lost 1,600 out of their 2,500, leaving about 1,000 Americans left, while we retain a force that's twice the size at 1,800. Captured one of their cannons. Highest killers goes to the Don Cossack, charging down enemies. Highest losses goes to one of the infantry units, which has lost 175 out of 240. Didn't expect the Americans to go that close before they started firing, and not that they would go ahead and then kind of charge straight at us. I know the cavalry was going to charge, but not that the infantry would go in for the charge. Also, these Shogun battles are really quick, aren't they? Like, they're over in just a snap. And there we have it anyways. Our first victory against the Americans, and apparently it's warranted to be marked down by history. September 1865. I don't know when they started firing on Fort Sumter, but I can imagine that the Americans would be preoccupied at this point by other dealing with the South revolting. Of course, in the actual Civil War, the Russians were favorable to the North rather than the South, and I could imagine that this colonization attempt by Americans would be controlled by the North rather than the South. But who knows? With that said, anyways, we've got the first episode here as we invade American territory and take it for ourselves. So far, it's been going well, and we note that no other faction has decided to join them. Most notably, the Prussians. I do note here that the Prussians have made quite a gain against the island, which I don't like. I don't like that at all. It could be that I could send... I don't know, even if I send loads of money to support the island, I'm not entirely sure that that would be enough to actually stem the tide of the Prussians. I know from playing the Prussians in custom battles that one of their kind of late tier abilities is the fact that they've got kind of an insane rate of fire. So I'm not entirely sure if that's visible in game right now, and that's why they're crushing everything. You can see they do hold about all of Japan at this point. So, it's time for me to say, as I always say, hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode, and hopefully I'll see you guys for the next one. Bye!
Victory is assured, sir!